Hey guys, give me a second while I make sure our live stream's up and running. Everything looks good. 11 out of 12 or 11 out of 20 followers for our next goal. 25 is actually our goal, but we're going to hit 11. If you're just now joining us, I am Exodus. I play for the Rebel Circus Gaming Clusters. I am the owner and operator. You can find me on Twitch at Exodus Rules. You can find me on YouTube at Exodus Files. Please follow, subscribe, share, and like my videos. Helps the algorithm, helps reach a broader band. For the last couple streams, we've been just hanging out, doing random stuff, waiting for Genesis to drop. Been inviting some of our friends, clan members, past clan, I say clan, that's hilarious, tribe members, uh, and no, that wasn't a Freudian slip. Clan is, I say clan because I used to be part of Clash of Clans for many, many years, and it's just part of my vernacular to use the word clan. So let's not get any weird ideas because of that. So tribe mates, uh, past, present, and future, I'd like to invite them on occasionally. We can do some party chats or whatnot. But today, we had found something yesterday that I'm awfully interested in getting acquainted with. So I'm going to grab myself some armor and I'm going to explore because I have not, to my recollection, tamed a Paleo Giga, which is part of our mod list for Rebel Circus gaming clusters. And the first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to grab some armor. And nothing in here is, well, this one. So two of each of these, I'm going to need to do an extra one of those, extra one of those. I got two of those and two of those. So, um, got that. Let's go ahead and we've got a couple resources on us from what we collected yesterday. We're going to go ahead and pop that in our handy dandy drop box. And then we're going to grab a couple more gauntlets and we're going to grab one more chest piece. Now, I was looking to repair all this. We still need, which I have not paid attention to, we're going to go check right now, our gotcha. First, we have a gotcha farm going on, and then I've got some gotcha breeders over here. The problem is, I think I left them on breed, which is bad because anybody can go by and get those. So, we're going to claim this one. We're going to make sure this one's turned off. But we're going to see, we're going to go ahead and grab the embryo from it. Now, what we're looking for from this breeding cycle is we're looking for a black pearl. I don't know what happened to my black pearl. I had a black pearl. This is not something I want to keep. I have everything in there. We're going to go ahead and kill it. Not his fault. Not my fault. It's just a farm. Pop this into gestation so it gives it proper amount of time. I had one of my community members give us a winter drakeling. It's not max. I don't like taking things that are from other people. But it's not max. It improves our breed line. I'm going to pop it in one of our fridges for future breeding. We don't do breeding during this time. But we're going to claim this one. We're going to make sure this one's turned off. But we're going to claim this one. Not his fault. My fault. It's just a farm. Pop this into gestation so it gives it proper amount of time. I had one of my community members give us a winter drakeling. It's not max. I don't like taking things that are from other people. But it's not max. It improves our breed line. I'm going to pop it in one of our fridges for future breeding. We don't do breeding during this time. do based off of everything they've done in those 3 weeks. Then on top of that, every single map is sensitive to certain settings as well. Island here is sensitive to breeding, so the rates on here are slightly better than the rates on the other maps in our cluster. Because this is what would be considered a breeding map for us. And then we have our base rates that every map enjoys, but specifically on this map, certain breeding sensitive settings are pushed. On our other maps, we could have taming sensitive, which would mean that we have 330 max. On the island here, we have a 319 max. So slightly different. And then we have harvest maps, which are sensitive, obviously, to weight and harvest rates. So that's how we do it here at Rebel Circus Gaming. I don't like people putting their roots down and getting comfortable on just one map. I want them to explore all maps. That's the point. So right now, we are in Taming Week. It starts today. And what that means for our cluster is that every map spawns 330s. But specifically on our taming maps, the rates for taming are improved slightly to give a slight edge. Maybe one less kibble, maybe a little bit faster on a passive tame, so on and so forth. So we should be able to find 330s on the map. I usually go around and do a wild dino wipe, but for my own personal reasons, we know there is a Giga in the midst that we want to go have some fun with and tame. Let me first get dressed. And then I'm going to go ahead and transfer this stuff that's on me. I'm also going to top off the repair on my other gear here. We've got a lot of gear that needs repaired, but most of it needs black pearl, so that's why we're looking for the black pearl. Well, that's interesting. This should be repaired. Because I do have everything for that. Maybe... Oh, there it goes. I just had to put it in and trigger it. Look at that. Now there's not enough polymer anymore. Poly and black pearls. That's the issue. One of them needs like 12,000 poly, so let's go ahead and get that started with our composites. So we get that started not only in our fabricator, which is kind of a slow process, but we can also do it in our replicator, which is on the top level here. I don't use it too much because obviously it uses Element to process. Element does not come as easy. Or a PvE server, and there's no reason to keep Element that quickly, like that readily available. So people would have to farm bosses in order to get Element. Go ahead and transfer all of what we got going on. We're also going to harvest our red dust element bugs that comes from the No Untameables mod. I was able to get a couple tamed, and since then I cloned those. We also have a shop. Once I tamed one, I went ahead and got one from a shop and I began cloning it. So, cloning is not something everybody can do. It's part of our admin shop as well, but it's completely free. If you give me a moment, I'll be right back, okay? things. I'm back. I had to tend to some things, so we're going to take a look and see if we can top off some of this polymer real quick. Still waiting for Genesis to drop. I've got a notification, let me see. It is a notification from Wildcard, launch timing update. Genesis Ascended Part 1 and Arc Tides of Fortune are still moving through console certification. We're readying, although I think that's spelled wrong. I might be wrong. We're readying everything on our side and are still planning to launch today once the remaining platform approvals are complete. Alright, so they're still waiting. In the meantime, it gives us a time to go and find that Giga that's out there. Female Paleo Giga. What that does for us is it allows us to convert our Giganotosaurus, which is from the Paleo, the Evo Giga, into a Paleo Eva Giga. Alright? Because Paleos are crossbreedable. As long as whatever the female is, it becomes that version of it. We're also looking to top off the durability of what we have here. So we're going to go ahead and pop this stuff in. Might as well just go ahead and take out what's already 100% also. So we're going to take this out. None of this. We need a lot of fish scales, I think. No, seagrass. That's one thing I was going to get from Atlantis, but we can capture that at any time. I'm not going to grab this stuff out of here quite yet until all of these are kind of fixed. Some of them are quite expensive. Like this right here. Why would I ever want to keep this? It's gonna cost me 21,000 polymer, 10,000 black pearls to fix, and it's not even close to the durability of this. So to me, having this around is a liability. Something really close is this one here. Comparatively, see, look at the item rating 12.12. You're looking at a durability of 1221. Polymer requirement is 905. This is 21,000 because the item rating is 176.55. That does not make sense, guys. Okay, this is 181.6. Doesn't make sense to keep that. It really doesn't. Item rating 95, that's on the high side. Item rating 10, but this is what we have for this. You know, what we need to really do is probably go through. This helmet costs an arm and a leg to make. You know, durability is low. High compared to this, but could have sworn durability. Yeah, it's actually maxed. So durability is decent, or even close to max on this, but the cost of repair is insane. 11,000 polymer. You know, black pearls alone, I could deal with the metal. I can deal with the crystal. You can look at some of our quantities on that, but when we're running low on some of this other stuff, it's crazy, you know. But it's a high level helmet. 172.69 to repair for these leggings. Not sure what I was looking at. Oh, the item rating 172.69. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna put this in our grinder. I'll put the right thing in there. I'm sure I did. Putting that in there for sure. so high. Crystal, nah, I'm leaving it in there. I don't care if it's high. Alright. Now, we're going to need some materials for this Giga. First of all, the Giga needs to be hand-fed a Giga heart to start the process. Okay, he sniffs it and eats it out of your hand. That's scary alone. Okay, that kind of initiates the taming process from what I'm reading. Again, I've not done the Paleo Giga yet. So today we're going to learn, and then we're going to try to improve on the process. Alright, one thing I love about ASA is it gives us the flexibility with stuff that we don't normally use. I'm going to test a couple things out to make sure. The Gigas kind of eat through stone, so if we don't have metal gateways, we're going to make some. We've got some 4x4s, and I just want to test real quick if my idea is off, but you can use these 4x4s even single level, and it'll work. The Giga will not walk through it, and this is a good way to kind of capture the Giga. Alright, and you see how we can stack it too. So if it does by chance walk over it, which it's not going to, then we can stack it. Okay, we're going to build instead of the 4x4s. 4x4s allow creatures like the Dinotherium, which I'm going to use, along with a healing dragon, which is kind of a cheat code in itself for the Draconic Chronicles light that we use in this. So the dragon itself here, this is the healing dragon. So if I throw a Dinotherium down and have it chomp on it, which is what it needs to do in order, this dragon needs to keep up with its damage. So I'm going to bring a couple Dinotheriums. One, these don't seem leveled up. That's leveled up, but that's leveled up in weight. So if you look here, 42,000, 16,000. So we actually want ones with extremely high health, so they last. So we're going to grab a couple more that's already got some health in it, that's got some health in it, and that doesn't. So for whatever reason, Woodtugger got put back. There we go. So we've got a few Dinotheriums. We got 5 gates. We're going to get a behemoth gate. We're going to try the old classic method for the Giga, where I do a half circle of regular gates, and then I do one behemoth gate. I lead it in. Usually you put a bear trap in it to kind of immobilize it while you run around and close the gate. But I don't like to put a gate on it. I just like to add the gate afterwards. Now the problem with the ASR gate is it'll open if you're nearby. So you gotta really be careful of that. So let's see if we have any ASR behemoths. And what I'll do is I'll make a regular gate, a vanilla gate. Okay. There's gateway and gate. So I'm going to make an ASR gateway, and then I'm going to make a vanilla gate, because I don't want that gate. ASR has the automatic feature of opening when you get near it, and I don't want that to happen. I don't want to sit there and make a setting that turns that off while the gate is sitting there roaming around either. that goes into several things. Top this off. Alright. Better to test things out while you're here as well. We're gonna have to bring a killer with us, which pretty much anything's a killer, but can be used as a killer. Alright. So too many structures nearby, that's kind of odd, because I shouldn't have a limit on that right here. So that's a vanilla. See how we walk up to it and it doesn't open? ASR does open, so we don't want to do that. While we're at it, make sure our May wing is nice and full. We do have a gotcha in our gestation, so let's go ahead and pop that out. That is going to give us black pearls. This is the one we want. So we're going to throw it out here, and we're going to name it Black Pearl. Actually, we're going to name it, well, it's a male, so we're going to name it Black Eyed Pearls. Just because it just popped in my head right now. Alright, with that in mind, it should be fed from here. Just double check our trough for berries. Good thing we checked, I guess. So let's grab some berries. These things do eat a lot. We're going to have to remember this is a breeding map, so we got a lot of forgiveness when it comes to imprinting. We will imprint this. Okay. I use Miju berries primarily for feeding babies. Alright. I'm going to put up the wyvern that I have, and I'm also going to get a couple things that will help us kind of clear the area. This wyvern is very, very useful and helpful, but it's very, very fragile, so I don't want to lose my wyverns, okay? It wouldn't take an alpha wyvern either, because I found out that when you use alphas in the base game as tames, it kind of boosts everybody else. You know, they get the alpha, wilds get the alpha buff, so it's not kind of wise to use alphas in pretty much any scenario. They're just kind of like a bragging thing of what you got, maybe. They do have a lot of health, so, I mean, they're useful in taming. I mean, but, and because, I mean, not a lot of things obviously aggro to them. So they're kind of invisible to most everything, you know. But they do turn up the resistance on, you know, while taming as well. You just got to be really careful about using alphas in gameplay. Alright, let's take a look at our carnivore list and see if there's anything that we can use. My mainstay is kind of Thylas, so I'm going to go ahead and grab a Thyla. Alright. But if I come across, which there is a bunch of nasty stuff in that area, let's find something else that might help us. Okay. We're going to throw the carch out just to make sure that the levels on it are... Okay, well, I need to get over there, so I gotta fly. I got to fly. lightning zombie wyvern. I need some taming materials. I don't think you knock it out. Pretty certain that you don't knock it out. I think it wears itself out, and at that point, you're going to need a lot of biotoxin to keep it knocked out. And on top of that, we're going to need some kibble. Seems like a lot, but let's keep it. Shoulder pet. I'm going to bring this Stephacanthus with us now that we have 330s in the wild. And maybe we come across something that we might want to tame since we have the taming material with us. Which means I'm also going to grab a long neck to help with knockouts. Now we're not going to get knee deep into taming today. Taming's not our goal. Our goal today, put this on the hot bar. Definitely put this on the hot bar. I'm going to put it down here. This will be the first thing I lay so I can be in my inventory for that. Alright, shocking. We don't need that much. It also causes a lot of weight. So let's turn this into about 100. Alright, we're looking good, guys. I think. Bear trap? Possibly? Let's grab 5. And just in case, let's sleeping bags if I have any made. This is also a lot of weight, so let's get it down to like 3. If you notice my preset basically on my character right now is set for boss fights. Alright. I think we have everything. Let's take a quick look at our tribe tower up there, which I don't see the smoke from it. Our tribe tower is off. That's not good. That means it needs more stuff. We will do that when we come back and explore. Let's head out and see if we can get this Paleo Giga under control. If you're just now joining us, my name is Exodus. You can find me on Twitch at Exodus Rules, and YouTube is Exodus Files. Go ahead, follow, subscribe, share, like if you like my content. If you have some opinions on content for future content, please leave a message in the chat. I'll answer it or try to answer it. I appreciate any feedback. I'm pretty new to the game. YouTube content is coming kind of slow because I'm teaching myself how to do some of this video production. And, I just want it perfect by the time it reaches you guys. I do. I'm a perfectionist. I'm a completionist. My whole gameplay is centered around that sort of mentality. My server is set up to where I want you guys to experience everything this game has to offer. And a lot of you guys don't have the time, so our rates make it so you have the time. No, they're not 50x. We are a PvE. If you want to fast and loose, there's plenty of PvP servers out there that are fast and loose, and from my experience, a lot of them PvE 90% of the time. So, fast and loose. Oh, there's a. What are we talking about here? 95. You know what I didn't do, and I want to do, and I didn't do. So we're gonna probably turn the 330 max on today. So unless we're killing things, or things are dying in rapid rate on here, besides the island and story mode maps um, uh, like the island, extinction, apparition, all of those maps are designed to let you struggle, okay? Because official rates wants to keep you involved. Official wants to keep you involved, and these are their core maps, which means that finding max level dinos is rare. It's not going to be easy. If you want to find max level dinos pretty easily, you go to like a modded map. And on ASA, that would be Valguera, that would be Astraeos, that will be not Lost Colony, for sure. I like to walk into my base. That would be the center. The center is really good for better spawn rates for higher level dinos. You know, anything not part of the story. If I lose you because I crash, I will be back. But my base is pretty big with a lot of structures, so I have to be very careful walking into it to render it in. So you notice that I have ASA gateways here. I think it's pretty easy to get in now, so let's hope that everything's rendered properly. Come up here and get our stuff in Kansas. I don't know why I didn't remember it, but sometimes my mind wanders with what I'm talking about and go off on tangents. You know how it is. You know how it is. It's not a shoulder pad because it is part of the Sunken World editions, and I've moved it over here. Right there. Gonna go with our trusty Stephacanthes. Let's go ahead and throw it out and put it on our shoulder. Got plenty of extra crowd pods too for what we're doing. We might bring a few more just in case, like I said. Right now we have maxes out. See the little indicator that came on the right side? I don't know if that tells us that it's looking for max creatures, okay? There are two other indicators that it could pop up, and it looks for notes, or it looks for treasure. I personally don't understand the treasure thing myself. Nothing's ever popped for treasure. I'm not sure if that means it's looking for hidden. I don't know what it's looking for. I really don't. Maybe there's like admin chest or something that it'll help find. I haven't had an indicator for treasure, and it doesn't mean loot drops. So if you guys have an idea of what the treasure is, and I'll just show you what the indicator looks like. Alright, so here's enable treasure detection. We'll just go ahead and pop it on for no other reason than to see if anything triggers it. But I've never had anything trigger it, so is it possible that it's for PvP purposes and anything that's buried? Unsure. Like, if you guys know, I love learning new things, especially from the community. I'm open to it. I don't know everything. I know a lot. The things I do know, I will fight some people on being right on, because if anything, I love the idea of fact is fact, not opinion. Okay? Everybody has their opinion, plenty of opinions out there, but there's only one true fact out there. Research and understanding and learning things gives you a better understanding of what that fact is, and some people just think their opinion is their opinion. You know, their opinion is doesn't matter what other people think. You know, that was ugly targeting. Yeah, this isn't working very well. There we go. very well behaved when it comes to things like that. They know I can survive them. Alright, heading over to, there's another one, let's check that out. 21. I don't know why I'm looking at the levels, because we're not out here doing bastion fields today. Okay. I love the fact that I cannot hit it. And I also love the fact that it doesn't necessarily pass on the Emperor, but this one did. Excuse me, if I start hiccuping, I apologize. I don't even recognize when I do it, but I don't stop for a long time. So, if you guys haven't shared my live stream yet, please take the time to go share it. The more that join us, I would love to party chat as well. So, if you guys are in the neighborhood, go ahead and join the show, and let's have some fun together. Let's do some things. But today, what we're doing, if you're just joining us, is we're going to go look at a high-level female paleo giga, which should be on the side of this mountain over here. Okay, that's a draconic wyvern. Shadow, looks like. It's on the side of this mountain, not very easy to get to, but what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to lead it down. Down into a very controllable space. And a big controllable space looks right here, but if he's on this side of the mountain, it's going to be hard to get him into this controllable space right here. Okay. I don't love this place, but the first job would be to get, there's a Drakara here. They can desaddle you, so we're going to try to take this out like right away with what we have. Now that the car is going to be on us, let's come down here where we're not going to fall and die, because if it desaddles us, we want to be okay. Alright. Got rid of obstacle 1. There's like 4 or 5 other obstacles up on this mountain here. So we got an alpha, the last I seen. We have that S Rex, low level. Looks like we can get rid of this right away. Let's find the Giga, because the Giga was right on this side, which is a bad side. Let's see if we can find this thing. It may have wandered down. Like, it was on this side right here, so let's... There's the Alpha. So we found the Alpha. We haven't found the Giga yet. Is the Giga below it? I don't know what I was looking at, but I could have sworn I'd seen something down here. I don't necessarily have to get rid of the Alpha if we've lost the Giga. There's one thing about despawning, it's a myth, you guys. It's an absolute myth in context of despawning. Things do not despawn, okay? There is a condition that if something is moved outside of its spawn area and damage is caused to it, else on the mountain. But it might have fallen even further. I mean, we're talking about clear sheer cliffs. So it might have fallen down here, and it's kind of like roaming around. Taking the time to look for a Paleogiga, which still should be in the area. My experience tells me it still should be in the area. There's something over here, I think. I mean, it might not be the Giga, but... I am scouring the area, but I have yet to find it, and if 3 of the things that was in the area is still in the area. There was, I thought, a 4th. That's a Rex. Did I lose it? Did I lose it because I didn't take it? It's another Rex. Because I didn't take the time to do it yesterday. Please tell me that's not the case. Gigas go wherever they want, right? That's just a shame. It was nice. I don't care about the level because, like I said, with the crossbreeding, I don't have a Paleogiga yet. I could do any Paleogiga female of any level, and I would be happy because I can crossbreed my stats from my vanilla Giga line into the Paleo line. Okay, that's a configurable option, which for the community that I had to weigh whether or not, when Paleo took over all of the spawns, whether or not I was going to force people to start over with, Rexes and Gigas. And I could have done that. I mean, with Evo. I could have done that, but, the issue with that is there's a lot of people that poured a lot of time and effort into their mutations, and those mutations are gone. We're casual. We're PvE players. Very casual players. And not that it wouldn't be fun to tame the next line of Rexes and then go through the breeding aspects of adding mutations back into a whole new breed line. In the moment, I'm sitting there thinking that people would not like that. Not saying I can't turn that off at any time, though. I could turn that off at any time. I'm going to fly around the peak a little bit again. One thing I imagine is maybe, I can't imagine, it was like a 308. Can't imagine that something killed it. I really can't. But maybe because it moved outside of its range, it aggroed on me. I don't think anything even damaged it. It's very possible that somebody from our community came over here. That I had a couple people with me. They may have come over here and tried their hand at it, and I just don't know. But while we're out and about, we have our Stethecanthus on us. This Paleogiga went right down this sheer. I don't see it. See the Alpha Rex, which was here. I saw the S Rex, which was there. He fell down in that particular spot right there, was just hanging out when I left it yesterday. If he'd have gone anywhere, it would have been straight down this hillside. If he was kept in render. videos if you want to locate the J notes. We had a couple malfunctions in the internet, good old internet. We're rendering in somebody's face. We had some malfunctions in the internet here, so I think we had one crash, so it may be part of two different videos. When I spliced it, something was there. Sometimes the ASR hangs. When you remove buildings, it just hangs. Now these structures, they're not core, but are very difficult to get rid of, so you have to kind of wait for the timer to go bye-bye. Let's go take a look at a couple other. This is one of our community members' bases. It looks phenomenal. Maybe we can get them on the stream someday, and they can kind of give us a tour around and let us know what's going on. Beautiful people. They've been with me from day one. I can't say enough about how much they are a part of our community and how much I love having them here. We are a community that loves teaching. I personally like to play with people. I started with like 4 or 5 tribe mates coming into this, and now I'm down to basically one consistently, you know. So there is a couple places that Gigas spawn. One of those places is here on this mountain. On the north side of this mountain. Looks like I have to unlock it again. You know, occasionally the map kind of resets. About 3/4 of the way up on the north side of this mountain, which means I have to go around it, is a Giga spawn. I don't use commands to get rid of fog or clouds, so bear with me. I love playing the game intended for us to play. So, so right around here is another Giga spawn. Okay, so we're going to kind of take a look all around this location, maybe even up on top. The island is pretty simple when it comes to their spawns. If I miss a spawn, go ahead and give me hell for it inside the chat. I do this from memory. I could accurately look at what everybody else's opinion in Wiki, Discord, whatever else. But I do not hear or see a Karcha or a Giga in this area. So we're going to go to number 2. For me, is over here near the blue. You go over here where this mountain range spine starts, and I kind of follow it up. This one's a little bit more broad. It's kind of the spine here and to the north. I don't see it on the south side too often, which is that side. But you follow this path, which goes in a bunch of different ways here, and that's a shadow wyvern. And you follow this path, and this path kind of leads you to where it kind of spawns. It could spawn in this area. In my experience, sometimes you get one, sometimes you don't. So we're going to go all the way up to the peak, and then we're going to go around the peak to the north. I'm going to have to get some stamina here soon. And then around this area. Now, on this area, it could be all the way down to the shoreline that it spawns. Go ahead and get some stamina real quick. all around the tree line. All the way back to the spine, down to the shore. I don't hear anything, and I don't see anything. One of those things about the island that you just have to kind of shrug off. There's at least 2 or 3 other spawn locations. It's a real shame that that 308 wasn't there. Really kind of upset about it, to be frank. They're never really kind of on this side. Rarely they might be over here, but not really. Which is the eastern or the western side of the mountain. We're gonna go over now to the volcano. Now they spawn again near the peak, following a path down. I got all dressed up for the party, and the party hasn't started yet. Again, if I'm missing any, let me know. Let me know in chat. We're gonna kind of look around a little bit of this base area, but really where they spawn is right up on top. They may wander down to that, but generally they spawn on top. I don't generally see them wander down too much, especially if people aren't rendering them in and moving them. So we're just checking the mountainside just for the hell of it. Right now it looks like there's a lot of clouds up there that would cloud my vision anyway. Cerrado. Cloud my vision. Alright, we're gonna try to follow a little bit of this path if we can, but I don't see anything here. Let's go ahead and head down to the valley between these 2 mountains, which is another place they spawn. Now we were over here for the Bastion Beetle earlier, and I didn't see anything. What's amazing is I don't see a single one yet, which means they're out here. We just haven't seen them. Usually has a lot of high activity here. Just going to do a quick run around, because they could be down in these knows? That's the way things are. And honestly, if there isn't one on the map right now, I'd be free to do a wild dino wipe. A lot of people love wild dino wipes regularly. Again, in my experience, I think it doesn't help. Like you're resetting an already bad spawn rated map to its defaults, and that brings balance back. But what it doesn't do is it doesn't focus anything. You know, what it would do in this particular situation is bring back whether or not there's 1 gig or 2 gigas around the map. But let's say there's already 1 or 2 gigas around the map that are low level and we don't want to tame. We do a wild wipe. All that does is possibly bring 1 or 2 back again at the same level. You know, if you kill everything in the spawn region, every spawn region has a balance already to the way it spawns. There's a global balance and there's a regional balance. There's not so much a balance when it comes to the creatures itself. So if you go around and kill every Rex, it's very possible that something else spawns instead of a Rex per se. You will never not have a Rex because Rexes have a high spawn rate. We're going to go check one more mountain area. I don't remember if there's any gigas that truly spawn in the south. I'm trying to think real quick off the top of my head. I've seen them spawn in the redwoods. And I've seen them spawn... Am I, like, automatically in the area? No, I want to say it's down there a little ways. I don't think it was near the green. There's something there. Structures can have a prevent, but not a lot of structures have a prevent spawn. So I know a lot of admins out there that are very on point with trying to clear structures all the time. You could do that through your decay and spoil settings, and structure decay. Set your structure decay and structure destroy settings. You could set it to where it's very, very quick. Me personally, I try to set some simple settings. So basically on stone, I allow like 34 days, and I just double that. If I'm not mistaken, I double that for a destroy timer. Core and unsnapped structures, both are supposed to destroy. Now, some of these mods come in with something unusual that's not considered either. Alright, that's an issue. Because that's when we get these floating structures that need to be removed. Now, it takes an admin to go around, but that's purely aesthetic. The issue isn't because those structures aren't preventing spawns. It's not even preventing people from building around. It's purely aesthetic. Alright, that's a Paleobronto. Alright, here's the area where I think there's probably no 330s in the area. So, with that on the maps after resetting the event. That's just the progression of what I do. I'm going to do it from our base though. I'm actually going to pause the video, go around to all of our maps, and do a fresh dyno wipe. Get a fresh take on it. And then I'll pop back in. Still waiting for Genesis to drop. Still waiting for the certifications. When it does, there's a process I do with my servers. One of the first things I do, because we are going to try to host it, is I sit there and I wait for the notification. That notification tells us that certifications is run through, and that clients, and what a client is the platform that you're running off of, which is Steam, PC Game Pass, Xbox, PlayStation. Those are the four main, and only. They all have different updates that go through certification. Steam, I don't think, goes through certification, so it kind of waits for the rest of us. You know, certification is the viability of the update. Nothing needs to be pushed to these games that Xbox, Microsoft doesn't approve. PlayStation, and Game Pass is just an extension of Xbox in a way. So it goes through certifications, and when I say client, it's the platforms, and we get the notification when the platform is ready. When the majority of the platforms are ready and good to go, the developer wildcard will release the server side update. So there's two updates. There's the client side and there's the server side. I wait first for the announcement. Alright, it does not necessarily mean that the server's automatically updated. It doesn't mean that the client's automatically updated. But once the announcement is made, we'll put on a timer basically. I'm waiting for my base to kind of render in so we're not lagging. So as soon as the timer starts, then I kind of prepare for what needs to happen. If we were to transfer or shut off our game, all of the updates will be pushed to our Xbox. And if the server is not updated, then we're basically waiting for the server to update at that point. Let's go ahead and hit a quick imprint. Gotcha. So if your client updates and the server is not updated, what you do is you log into the game and you won't see any server that's not updated. So if you're waiting for a particular server to update, you're not going to see it if they're not updated. You're going to see servers listed in public listing that have updated, but not the ones that haven't. So it's best to kind of wait for your client side if you're actively playing. I try to stay in game as long as possible because, quite honestly, I don't want to do other things. You know, so I stay in game until they either force me out or I choose at that point to move forward. I wait for a bunch of positive, hey, my server is updated, hey, my server is updated. I wait for a bunch of positive remarks in the Trago community Discord. And as soon as I see those positive reactions, that's the time that I go ahead and I send an announcement to my community that I'm going to be resetting the server. We're going to be updating everything. And what I actually do is a lot in between that. So I'll log off, I'll go ahead and update my client, but I'll also take all of our servers down. I'll back up our data through FTP to a local drive. You know, once everything's down, make sure that we have a full backup for this major update. Server is still not updated. This is a backup of an unupdated server. So we back up the server. I go ahead and update what we have a whitelist for our custom cosmetics. I update that Hey guys, I'm back. I'm sorry it took a little bit of time, but I went around to all of our maps and I did a dino wipe. I had a couple things I had to do, refresh my drink and whatnot. If you're just now joining us, we're just killing time until Genesis drops. If you guys are part of the community, please join me and interested in joining party chat. I'm open for it, and we could do some things together. Right now, I'm kind of looking for 330 tames. Spawning back into our island map, this is where we're going to focus all of our attention, because if the client drops at any particular time today, it prevents transferring until the servers are updated. So I kind of want to stick to one map for now. Plus we have a gotcha here that we're imprinting in order to get Black Pearl production started. Really excited about that. We're going to go ahead and put our breeding gotchas up. And I want to say hi to whoever is joining me on the map real quick to see who it is. Maybe it's my friends over there at Nightbreed. Maybe it's not. Who knows? I would love for Nightbreed to join me. You know, they are a tribe that's been with me since day one. I really appreciate everything they do. And they have a lot of experience to share with you guys. So eventually what I'll probably do is do a spotlight on some of our tribes that are on our community, and we could share what it is that they do for their game. Because I play my game, but our settings are set to where people can play whatever game they want to play, and the only thing I cannot change is I can't make it from like a 3x harvest rate to like a 50x harvest rate. I mean, the faster and easier things are, people are going to enjoy their settings. There's a happy medium. It's almost like the videos. Are you going to watch a full 4-hour video, or are you going to watch a half-hour video, or are you going to watch a 10-minute short, or not even a 10-minute short, but a 1-minute short? Sometimes you might be into the 4-hour video. I am, because I like to have it run in the background while I'm doing things, and if something triggers, if during the video, then I'd like to stop what I'm doing and kind of watch what's going on. If there's a lot of narration to a 4-hour video, which I try to do here, we're going to need some more berries. But if there's a lot of narration to it, then that keeps interest in the video, in my opinion. But not a lot of people was interested in that either way. If they're quick scrolling and they're trying to move forward with several different types of videos, maybe you have a schedule of streams, or maybe they're watching a movie as well, their interest isn't going to be intact. So, the game works the same way. The game, for some people, they don't want to spend 3 hours a day on it. They want to spend 30 minutes and be able to do 3 hours worth of work. They want to spend 30 minutes and be able to do in that 30 minutes what Official does in 2 to 3 weeks. The more boosted a server is, the less there are things that the game has made. It makes them, no longer useful. For instance, if you have boosted breeding settings or imprinting settings, you might have imprinting settings to where there's only 1, 2, or 3 imprints for anything, or your maturation rate is really high, 50 to 60 times. The game offered us something under official rates, which is the Procoptodon, that eliminates eliminates one of those imprints. In slower settings and slower maturation rates, it's very useful, very necessary to set up a Pergoptodon in order to imprint. So the first imprint's worth 2. If you have boosted settings, that's not worth it because one, several things that fit in its pouch, a high maturation rate is going to push it out of its pouch before it even hits the first imprint, depending on your imprint timing. My imprint timing is 23 minutes. That's what I'm used to. I like that. I don't know what official is, but I enjoy 23 minutes. A lot of people shorten to that like 10 seconds or 5 minutes. So depending on that, maturation timer, it gets kicked out of the pouch of the Pergoptodon. If you're only doing 1 or 2 imprints, it's really not necessary. More time and effort put into setting up a Pergoptodon advantage than there would be if you didn't use it. If you didn't use it, so what? I mean, it's just 1 or 2 or 3 imprints. So we did a wild dino wipe on every single map. We might get some triggers from our Snethacanthus now. We'll fly around and take a look. But let me think. I really want to fill. I can't believe I let that go because once the Tribe Tower empties, it resets the timer. I looked at that. I could have sworn I had months left on it. Can't believe it's not, or somebody's turned it off. One or the other. But we're gonna go ahead and grab some stuff up here, and that's the kind of discipline that sometimes you have to have. So I got lots of these. We're gonna cut that down to this. Lots and lots of these, and we're overweight already. So not too much we're going to be able to carry. Some of the things you have a lot of, 39. You don't need all the alphas. You really only need 2 or 3 alphas, really, tributes, because what you use the alpha tributes on in Island is the Overseer, and the Overseer terminal does not consume the tributes when you access it. So you really don't need that much. I need that wyvern. We're going to slow walk all the way over to the wyvern. Now, what would be useful, and what I'll probably end up doing, is setting up a distribution system to where 5%, roughly, I think 10% is the lowest, 10% of our tributes go up to that tribute tower. That way it's constantly fed all the time. But I'm not done setting up like the final destination of where our tribute's going to be, and that's what I've been procrastinating about. Like, after rebuilding a good portion of my base, I did not set up our trophy and tribute area. This was an ugly and bad idea if I can't get up there. There we go. Alright, we're burning again. Unfortunately, we're starting over. We're not using a modded Tribe Tower. I've seen some modded Tribe Towers out there that give you more of a benefit. If you have custom boss element, this percentage doesn't apply. So the element bonus, if you have custom boss element, doesn't. The taming speed does apply to your configuration settings. Experience bonus does apply after your configuration settings. The element does not. You have to have default element turned on for your bosses for that to take effect. That is, I think, unfortunate. I think that could be corrected, but even if I mentioned that in wildcard, that would probably be so low on the list of things to worry about. I love the fact that these BTT structures are put out there, to encourage us to buy them, but I have not seen too by wildcard in order to improve or fix the glitches from them. It's like, don't look back. We got what we wanted from it. Let's not look back because there's too much we're developing for the future, too much we're going to try to push to the communities to purchase. Just Genesis alone is going to cost. The map's going to cost. Tides of Fortune is going to cost. Fantastic Tames Future is going to cost. There's a bunch of new stuff that's coming out. Not to mention the premium mods that are out there. The premium mods, the cosmetic premium mods are almost, in my opinion, a joke. At least it's treated like a joke. Okay? The majority of them have no support whatsoever. Again, it's thrown out there, into the community and say, hey, purchase this. And yeah, it's cool. It's gratifying. It's like you're purchasing a bowl of ice cream, but you're not looking at the fine print. The fine print says it's very possible that someday in the near future or the far future, this mod is no longer going to work, but I'm not going to worry about it anymore. I got my money for it. And yes, I'm not thinking that if you're paying $5 to $10, give me a second. You got $5 or $10. I'm sorry, I had a phone call. $5 or $10 you're paying for these premium mods, cosmetic mods, and the support is so lacking in it. Very few things are getting fixed. Now, this is not what I consider for all premium mods. There are some premium mods out there that have some very active modders that take. It just crashed. But there are some modders out there that are very active uh, within their community. They take suggestions, they take advice. So I'm not talking about the minority of modders out there that don't. I'm talking about the majority that are just putting a product out there just to get a hint of compensation from it. You know, they're not getting the full $5 or $10. I don't know what percentage in the contract there is, but from what I hear, they're getting, let's say, $1, maybe $2 out of it. You know, if that. And this is just speculation. Don't quote me on it. I may not know what I'm talking about. There might be a higher percentage or lower percentage. I don't know. While this reboots, I just crashed. I do have to step away again for another 2 seconds. I'm going to leave the stream up and running. But under this scenario, I might get another lost or timeout. Under that scenario, I generally do a hard reset of Arc. But in some cases, just going back in twice, like I just did, allows enough time for my character to go to sleep to where I can wake up. You can't forget that your shoulder pet gets thrown off of your body, so you can pick that up immediately. Give me a second while I investigate a couple things in my household. I'll be right back. I am back. Anything exciting happened while I was gone? We're still waiting for this last imprint on this gotcha, and then we might go around and take a look at some things. I completely forgot, but we're going to definitely need to throw a couple more Miju berries in there, so let's go ahead and do that. We're limited on weight, so we can't carry very much. See if we can slow walk 4 of them over there. We've all been there. I have a preset on my character right now for bosses, and not necessarily for this sort of choring. I usually reset my character to some preset ideas based off of what we're doing. We don't need all this. Like taming right now is really close to boss, so I'd like to keep these presets going. I don't really need to carry a lot. I just need to have survivability. So high fortitude, you know, a lot of points in fortitude, a lot of points in health, a lot of points in food, you know, those sort of things. You know, I'd like to have those sort of presets for taming because I don't want to die out in the field. You know, don't need any crafting skill. If I'm doing a lot of crafting, I'll put it all in crafting skill. I don't have a crafting character right now. My main character is 185, so I'm not going to beat that many points. Not that I have to put that many points in, but because I do have a slight boost on crafting skill, which I can lower, to be honest with you. I love people having the idea that they have to have a crafting character with a lot of points. And if I make it easy for 105s to craft max saddles, so I may consider that for a future setting update. How much time do we have left here? We've got 4 minutes. Alrighty, so we've got our Stethecanthus on us. We're going to go take a look to see if there's anything special around. In the meantime, let me think. In the meantime, we had an update, and I was going to spend all day doing one thing. I don't like doing a bunch of little things. I like to focus on one thing at a time. We're still waiting for Gen 1 to drop, guys. Genesis is dropping today. We're waiting on certifications, waiting for notifications from ARC, and waiting for notifications from others. Let me take a look at some of our chats and see if I can help anybody that's asking questions today. Alright, so somebody was asking, and they were having problems with their beacon saving properly to the cloud. Beacon allows 2 different types of save: a local save and a cloud save. and some really proactive people will save locally. But what that does is it preserves a local save as the choice and option for future saves. So when you save locally, it's not like if you were to hit save on the project again, it automatically saves locally rather than up to the cloud. It's like a choice. It's like I don't want my saves to go to the cloud. I want them to go locally. It's like a choice. What would be nice is if it's automatically cloud saved, and then you can create a save as, and then it wouldn't just automatically assume that every save that you hit, every control S that you hit is automatically, just because you did a save as, it wouldn't automatically create a save in your local save. It would automatically still continue to go to the cloud, but that's not how Beacon works. So you have to be very you have to understand that if you do create a local save, you then have to go back and create save to the cloud again to switch that back to I'm saving to the cloud. Okay, if that makes sense. So this is what troubleshooting. This is what I'm sharing with the person. A lot of people really don't know how to voice their issues, and when you're helping people troubleshoot problems, you're having to make a lot of assumptions. It's not your fault as the person that's probably requesting help, and it's certainly not the fault of the person trying to give help, because there's a lot not said and a lot not understood. What I view one way is not how you view it. So, there's a lot of follow-up questions that sometimes need to be made. And in some cases, and I've seen it, in some cases, people don't want to feel dumb, but they'll never feel dumb. Cooked meat jerky is what it's, I don't think it said Prime. I'm not sure. I'm not even looking at the right thing. But you're not feeling dumb. I don't feel like searching for answers is dumb. So, but if you're not forthcoming with every little detail, there's a lot of assumptions that get made. Now you're guessing. Now the person that's helping you troubleshoot, it says, oh, I didn't put it in the slot. So it becomes frustrating on the part that's helping you troubleshoot if you're not completely forthcoming with everything, simply because you don't want to look dumb. Guys, I mean, we have the same goal. A lot of us are volunteers, and we're just volunteering on helping you solve the issue that you came here to solve. So just be as forthcoming as you can. That's why a lot of the standard information is required. What platform you're on, what steps you've taken, and even if you can't verbalize it, send screenshots. Screenshots help. What help us as a troubleshooter visualize. So those are really some great steps to take in order to get your problem solved quickly without having to take up 5-10 minutes of anybody's time, if that makes sense. I don't want you to have those. That's ridiculous. I don't want you to have them. Alright, now that we have a fully imprinted gotcha on the way, let's go ahead and take a look at the inventory and how things are going with these guys. Snow Owl's still good on food. The Phoenix is good on food. Let's check the food on our two gotchas. Food is good there, collecting pearls. Food is good here, collecting black pearls and pearls. Food is good. We are not feeding these bad boys at all, but they'll survive a pretty long time. They're certainly not feeding off of this trough. But we do have a food trough that's up here. I think. Pretty sure we have a food trough feeding these animals up here. Yeah, right there. Boy, ants and Acatinas in our way and everything. Let's move this Acatina someplace else. We're going to have to take this out of our hands. Boy, it's not letting me grab it. Why am I not able to pick it up? So let's hit it. I could have sworn you could pick up Acatinas. I might be wrong. Pretty certain you could pick up Acatinas. I can't because... Yeah. Okay, let's throw our Stethocanthus down. You can't have a shoulder pet and pick things up. So let's put our Acatina back over here someplace else. Alright, put our Stethocanthus back on. So I'm fairly certain that all of these berries and whatnot are feeding our Pegomastics, you know, from that trough. Didn't realize that we were in range. It's not going to hurt the gotchas at all or anything else like that. As you notice from yesterday's production, we've got a good amount of gems. Again, I'll pick up all the gems, just transfer it in. I really don't want these weak. They're not set up to give me good loot. Don't need help getting good loot. I get those from other things. And then I'll go to my crane because you can easily get weighed down. So we'll start with all the loot. And I accidentally replaced one of my armor because of that. And no other loot. And then from here, I usually do the second, just hold down consume. If you notice, I'm overweight already. And I got a bunch of sap. I just unloaded a lot. That's not good. Like, I hit the wrong button. I really should have gone to a drop box. Really should have gone to a drop box. The cooked prime meat came off of our... am I still way down? Yeah, I am. So what I want is I want to put this stuff in there, but I want to pull the Azelberries back off. Can't believe I did that, honestly. I want to pull the Azelberries back off because I don't want these things to consume the pearls. Okay? When they have inventory that they can consume, they won't consume the things they're picking up. So we're going to pull the Azelberries off. We're going to end up pulling the cooked prime meat off and distribute it back into the snow owl. So the crane will actually allow you to deposit from your body too. I just went a little fast and did a quick dino unload instead of using the deposit. Alright, there we go. We'll divide this. So only one of these is close to the... Yep, that one. Didn't pull from the other snow owl. With that in mind, we're going to want to distribute this. Pearls, black pearls, sap, and spoiled meat. You hit distribute on the radial menu. And it distributes where it needs to go. Now for the loot that we got off the gotchas, we're going to go ahead and place it into our grinder. We don't need that loot. Better to use the resources we get from it. 260, 280, got a couple long necks, got that. That can be turned into It can be turned into blueprints through the Helicoprion from the gacha as well. It's not, even though it says crafted, I believe it's not crafted. It's not considered crafted, so it's considered like a loot drop. I might have to test that again. It's been a minute since I've tested that, so I don't want to say misspeak, you know. We've got lots of embers, you guys. What we don't have is a lot of embers from the Aberrant version. And that's only going to be available because I can't get Aberrant Bastion Beetles to spawn on any map except for Aberration. So it's going to have to wait till Aberration is kicked back up again in our rotating map. I think somebody is still on with us. I'm going to try to get a hold of them. Let me see if it's one of my friends. It's not one of my friends. Alright, I'm answering a couple chats, I'm sorry. Let me go ahead and let you know. Alright, sorry. Still troubleshooting this guy's saves are not saving to the cloud with the beacon app, so I'm trying to communicate with him, which takes me a little bit of time away from this. So now that we have the Stethecanthus on us, I'm also going to... No, I'm not going to put it on. So we're going to go look for something to tame. while we wait. We're waiting for Gen 1 to drop, and then there's a lot of work involved. I'll end the stream and go to work for my server. If you're not familiar, my server that I run and manage is Rebel Circus Gaming, or RCG for short. I do have some ads out there on Facebook. I have some ads on Reddit. Have some ads on Discords for some particular people, you know. But while we're flying around, I'm happy if you want to join, maybe possibly join a stream or two. We are what would be considered a little bit of a grind compared to most. We are considered a 3x, although some of the rates you can say bump up to 5 at least 1 week out of the month. You know, we have sympathetic settings on all of our maps for breeding slash we have breeding maps, we have taming maps, and we have harvest maps. So every map has slightly different settings that are sensitive to those types of tasks. You know, we are on the island right now, which is the main base. It's our mainstay. I have 2 or 3 maps that are solid maps, and then I have a rotating map. I would like to have 2 rotating maps, you know. Because Nitrado is difficult to work with, but my experience with them has been pleasant. A lot of people find it very difficult to work with them, but I find it very easy and relaxing. But it doesn't optimize the cost benefit on a server when you're rolling with a community server. You know, they're quite expensive. So I mean, if you've got the equipment at home and you're running your server yourself, the cost benefit is much better. I don't recognize this, but they're part of my alliance, and they have. What are we talking about here? Oh, this is Nightbreed. This is another location for them? Tell me we're not in 2 different locations. It's crazy, you guys. Why do we have 2 locations? Huh? Why do we have 2 locations? On our server, you're only allowed to 1, but I'm guessing they're utilizing 1 as, I don't know, like an outpost of some sort. But this is their main base over here. Nightbreed has been together with me for quite some time, and I may be a little laxed with them with certain things, but I'll just casually mention in conversation why they have two locations. It seems to me like they can easily work it all into the same one. I'm not going to snoop too much. I'm going to wait till they can properly show us around their base in a future thing. I wonder if I can, if I hop off fast enough, I can maybe see if this is Nightbreed as well. So definitely not going to be prevented. We got 15 days left on this. That's something that they're going to have to remove themselves. Let's take a look at our good old reliable mountain that produces gigas. That's what we were looking for earlier, was paleo gigas. We had a 308 that was hanging out around here, and I hesitate to use the word despawn. I don't like that word. Things just don't despawn. There's reasons behind it. You identify those reasons, and you can kind of understand and deal with the other things centered around it. So I find that if you damage or move something from its original spawn So, usually you will find some macros. You could find Rexes, but for now, I don't know about you, but I don't see anything. A bunch of RGs for sure. I don't think the Dino Wipe is quite spawned anything in, and if you notice, our Stephancanthus isn't picking anything else up either. So there's no 330s. Stephancanthus has a pretty wide range of pointing it out. You probably need to be within 50 meters of something for it to point out. Or follow this. I would love to look for Paleo Gigas. This is just not the map that I would love to do it on. You know, the Stratos is the map that I'd love to tame on during our taming week, which is what we're doing right now. There's a 330. Probably something that I have already, or a lot of, but it's moving like it's a Troodon. Any guesses on what it is, you guys? It's jumping back and forth, saying it's familiar. I'm gonna try to clear some of this trees out right here so we can maybe get a clear look to what this is. I'm thinking Terrorbird possibly too. Scorpion? Scorpion! We don't need a Scorpion. I'm gonna leave it alone in case other people do. I'd say that's gonna be a rarity to find a 330 on the island because you just don't find them like that. You really don't. I haven't published my notes for the day to my community because I'm waiting for Gen 1 to drop. If you've ever just flown around, I'm fairly certain I'm not getting the quality of the graphics that are usually come along with PC. Not that I'm not fairly, I'm definitely certain I'm not getting the quality you guys get on the PC. But if I had to choose graphics over performance and I had to make a choice, I would choose performance over graphics. I usually run very low graphic detail. Very, very low. Because I enjoy performance. We're coming from ASC with low graphic detail anyway. You know, for those that are used to PvE, you're used to it. That looks like aggro. See, with these swords, I can just hop off. That's worse than a 330. Some of the harder things that are out there that are 330 that can be accomplished with some pretty cool techniques, like a Titanium boa, nearly useless in PvE. I'd say nearly because there's a benefit in PvE. I don't know it yet, but just to leave that possibility open, maybe you guys can tell me that PvE has good use for Titanium boas. So PvE, for the amount of time that you spend in taming one, and for them not to be breedable, I would say they're pretty useless in PvP too. You can't breed them. You can only clone them. And even if you did clone a decent level one, you're now looking at the fact that you are able to maybe put a lot in a small area in PvP and maybe create some sort of a torpidity attack, a natural torpidity attack. They can hide in the brush. Here's it's probably dodos or something. Yeah, don't need those either. I mean, I'm going to probably spend a whole series on every creature in the game. I'm fairly confident. Some of these mod creatures I'm not 100% confident with in taming things. I have to, like most people, kind of learn from reading up on the mod. The natural process of knowing that a Paleogiga is a passive tame by feeding it a Giga Heart in your hand. Discovering that on your own without any hints is impossible. I would say downright impossible. That you know to walk up to a Giga with a Giga Heart in your hand is the way to start the taming process. Maybe food for thought with some of these modders is to give a natural way or ability or a note that you discover at some point in time. Because creating a note, kind of like an explore note, might give a hint without having the need of looking at a video. This is kind of new also. Some of these things, these people are really like phenomenal. Who are we talking about here? Is this a ruin that got converted and I'm just not really seeing anything? What's going on here? There it is. Railing. Demolished Sky. Oh, Sky, he used to be part of my... Let me send him, while I'm thinking about it, let me go ahead and send him a message. Say, hey, yo. Yeah. Looks like we just had somebody join, maybe from our stream. Let me go ahead and just double check the credentials, make sure he's not a possible spam account. It is a possible spam account. I want to send him one message. We share no mutual servers. The thing that's got me questioning is he doesn't have a profile that fits a spammer. I haven't put out any ads today, but I do plan on putting some out as soon as I see some progress. Now, looking for Skyscraper, where are you, Sky? Sky, I'm mentioning you an awful lot on this server, or on this stream, I should say. So I hope that you're enjoyed you getting around, but I think we had some things go awry with everything that happened in Lost Colony, which I couldn't help. I couldn't help what happened in Lost Colony, so please forgive me. This guy is still a member, so yeah, let's reach out to him. Let's go ahead and really put some effort into finding him because he's a good guy and everybody works. You know, I get it. Some work not as much as others, but um, life gets in the way. Priorities change. But when you find some people out there that become part of your community, at least this is the way I see it. We have a small That's what it was. Might have been the person that just joined. Although I hate to say it, he has not replied directly to me. I just don't like new people joining that have accounts less than a week old. This guy changed his profile. He's not part of any mutual server, which tells me he's not part of any other Arc Discord. Just, he's in the gray zone for me. Alright, the gray zone is where he kind of looks legit and he just started, which, in my opinion, doesn't happen too often. But he's not replying to my DM. He's offline, and he's only got like 5 days of membership with Discord. It's just it just looks so generic. There's just nothing about this that looks fine. You know what I'm gonna do? This is a really cool thing to do, is take their profile picture and do a Google search on their profile picture. Okay? If it's found on the internet under a generic kind of site, maybe like, I don't know, something that you can get pictures from, just doing picture searches for certain things, it's going to be duplicated. You're able to look it up. Look at the effort I'm going through, right? Look at the effort. Alright. Believe it or not, it's a generic picture. Love it. Love it. He's gone. Gone, boy, gone. That answered all my questions. Didn't answer my DM. Did a picture search on his profile picture. It's not a personal picture. Not saying that everybody has a personal picture, but it is certainly not a personal picture of any sort either. Most pictures are probably not personal pictures. But most pictures, are unique in some sort. This was very generic picture. So go to his profile under moderator mod view in Discord, and then you can ban him. And that's what we're doing today. As a suspicious or spam account. And in 24 hours, even though he just joined, we're getting rid of him. Gone. This is how I protect my Discord. I look at everybody who joins, and I put the effort in to seeing whether or not these are legit. I can tell you, it's the number one thing about Discord right now is spam accounts. Not sure get more people to try to join certain websites or whatnot that they can steal the information. It's like 5 days later, and from my experience, I can see everything happens relatively at the same time on multiple Discords. So there's an application that's run by somebody pressing a button somewhere. Certain issue. So an application is run, an executable application that sends out all of the spam messages on all these accounts that have been stolen, all these accounts that have joined Discord and have been sitting there, you know, and it all happens at the same time. Then you've got these really smart people that look at these messages and click on a link, or they follow the advice in the pictures and say, hey, that's a cool idea, let's do that. And these smart people then lose their information. But I can't see them making money off of it. It just seems like a circular exploitation. And it's not working well because, like, everybody who joins my server, these accounts are new. They're generated. So in my opinion, Discord is the one that's kind of not putting the right security measures into place, because these are new accounts. There's got to be better front end security to prevent this from happening. There's a lot of authorizations and checks that can be put in place to make sure everyone who is signing up has A, B, and C, A, B, C, and D in place. To be an authentic account. There's things that these spam accounts have, or don't have rather, that Discord should be asking for. I mean, that's just my opinion, right? Nothing else is popping. I really hate looking for tains. This right here is our admin base. So I have an alternative profile that employs this admin base right here. It's disconnected from my demolish cloud. That's not good. Demolish. Have I been away for that long for these things to be demolishable? That sucks. Thankfully, these things aren't claimable. This thing's going to eventually die. You can spawn it in, but there's no way to feed it. Which means it's a limited time offer. 15 days. Looks like I need to log in with my alternative character and get this thing. Unfortunately, I would have to do that under my admin permissions, and I don't like to do that while I'm streaming, obviously. Let's slowly come into frame to our base again. The things we have to do to enjoy this game in art. But as long as you're willing to and are open to learning, the game runs smoothly for you. far exciting that's happening here. Got our tribe tower running. Our gotcha should be nearing. We could clear our grills. That's not promising, right? And like I said, I have a watt grill that also is partly distributing our food into it. Our stock room is severely depleted, as you can see, in regular meats. If we have another taming event, it's going to be less than. So we're going to have to turn on our stove and our cooking pot and cook what we have in here. A lot of things have gone spoiled already. While we wait, let's go on up here and make sure everything's in order. Like, we're missing crop plots. Like, we're missing things. I mean, we could go collect to make sure this stuff is working the way it should. It looks like we're missing actual crops. Because that's this, the outer one, I think. What is in here? That is probably not supposed to be buried, because that's not how I have it. We're missing citronelle, and we're certainly missing a lot. We're missing a lot of stuff here. Let's just double check and make sure. We have Amar. See, we have 4 locations for this. This is Amar and Bird. Somebody didn't pick up the plot. We have Amar. So that's not supposed to be Amar. We're going to go ahead and get rid of that. We're going to destroy that crop. That's probably not supposed to be Bird. It makes sense that this is supposed to be that. We are supposed to be having the Sunken World Edition's crops in here. The 3 in the center, this is probably Miku. Yeah. Stem, which would make this Nargo. Those are correct. This is Magnan Berry. This is a Marberry. Sounds off with that, because I usually have it balanced a different way. This is Tinto and Cyan. So Tinto, Amar, and Azul are the 3 berries I don't have consistently out. And then you have the 3 other berries, that's 6 total. So for balance, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those would be our berry plots, which would leave this, 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 which is citronelle, right? So it seems like these are supposed to be our main crop. So don't need a meteor berry. Let's get rid of it. like this Azel right here. Once we do that, we'll take a, I think we're missing cyan berry. We'll make this Azel. So we have Azel, Magan. We have, that was Magan, right? No? Bird. Bird, Maganberry, Omar, Tento, and Cyan. So we have all 6 of those, and then we have those right there. I think that covers all of the berries. Playing through it in my head, I think that covers all the berries. So what's remaining is the Sunken World Edition stuff. We don't use this global seed, although we can put out it. We're just not using the fruit. So these two are part of the Sunken World Editions. This is part of the Sunken World Editions. And we're missing one, correct? We are missing one. So let's go ahead and plant these seeds. We have 4 locations set for those. One on the outside. Remove one. We'll do a tree right here, I believe. Does it have a clearance for a tree? Probably not. No. So maybe we'll do a tree right here since it's got more clearance. Tree. Girl bean is bananas. This is spine fruit, that's pineapples. It's on the outside. Let's do that here. And then we're missing one. Right? We're missing one. So that means we're going to have to go get some. So we're missing a couple things. We're missing a very important potato farm going on. And I could plant, like, why not? Let's go ahead and plant the global seed. This is from Draconic. If it doesn't harvest it, that's not a bad deal. You know? So let's go ahead and plant one on the back side here. And you'll see what I mean. I mean, it's a gorgeous plant. I like the idea of having more plants for harvest. Our ants here will harvest everything that you see in these crock pots. They used to harvest these, but I think I asked a question once why they're not harvesting these anymore, and I never got an answer for that. But they used to harvest these, and they don't anymore. Maybe I'll pose the question again and hopefully get, like, a response. I would like to double up on this stuff here. Let me make sure I have nothing on me because I'm going to harvest these real quick. Go ahead and do a Dropbox. Harvest everything in here. Some of this stuff means that I have all this full. So I'm going to deposit everything. That's also going to force deposit everything I had on Major Gaming. Deposit. Excellent. So then we're going to go ahead and grab our chainsaw and see if I need more gasoline. We're at 59. That's going to be close. But let's get one just in case. We're going to have to refill this gasoline. This is just here for not even aesthetics. I just put like a handful of stuff in occasionally. bit of poo that this thing picks up on, and it's full. I try to stand within range of the drop box if I can access, but it looks like it's being naughty. Like it's requiring me to be all the way here. So this also produces oil. And it's got some extra poo, but it looks like it's also picking up some snow owl pellets, which doesn't preserve anywhere, unfortunately. So what we're going to do is we're going to throw it back on the ground. We're going to use those